Yeah. It'll be really fun. We're gonna try and go out to Crater Lake. I've never been there, and everyone's like, "You have got to go. You've got to take the boat to Wizard Island. It's the last year." I mean, all this stuff. So, we'll
I've
see.
still never taken the boat, so maybe I should try to get in on that too.
I know. I guess they're doing like a revamp for 3 years. You will be able to take the boat out there. Anyway, so. Very good. We will have, I told her we will have a guest speaker today. So she's not on yet, but hopefully she'll hop on here. If she's not here by 9:30, then I will text her. But so share some good news. What was good about your week? And even if you have to dig into the archives, right? Dig down deep, Nancy. Dig down deep. What was what was a good thing?
Yeah, I'll go
week?
last. You all go
Okay.
ahead and let me think about it.
Jimmy,
What
let's
would be on
start.
that?
Jimmy, let's start with you. Let's start with you.
Well, I wrote my my twins' life insurance policy, even though
Okay.
my son was higher than what country approved. I'm like, man, but it is what it is, and at least now it's in the process of going to the next, and at least they're covered somewhat. Can't get any worse, like you said, for 20 years, so it can.
Well, let's talk a little bit about that. All right, just as hey, this is a freebie for y'all. All right. How many of you have written life insurance on a young 20-something older teen and it was not preferred plus?
I'm working on doing one for myself at 25 right now and for my little sister at 18, but because they're both going through, well, hers is going through simplified, mine's going through accelerated. So neither of them, I think, were eligible for preferred plus because of the underwriting they were going through. So I'm trying to just get them quick. So haven't really tried to do any preferred plus full underwriting yet.
Okay. So, and this is the only experience I have is with boys. Or I've never seen a girl that's been rated this way. And they say it's because of the life risk score. All right. So if you guys see that where it comes back, hey, we have medically rated your client preferred, non-tobacco, not preferred plus because of their life risk score. All right. So what that means, because my son was the same way when I wrote him last year, he got the same thing, preferred, not preferred plus. And I was like, what the heck? You know, he's totally healthy, you know, nothing, but it was explained this way to me, is when they look at that as a package, they look at a lot of things, right? They look at credit, they look at tickets, they look at accidents, they look at what is the risk of somebody, a male in that age range that would put them a higher propensity to lose their life, right? So just it's one of those things where I have not that I've paid attention specifically to every app that goes through our agency, but I have seen more of those like 19, 20, 21, young 20s. Jeremy, I'm not sure about 25. I think you're over the threshold at that point, but not getting preferred plus because of the life risk score. So it has to do with credit, all those things I just, so in my son's case, he had literally just gotten a credit card. So he's like, credit bad. It was in his mind. So I go, no, credit good. You have to do that. Just be responsible. He had been in an accident that he was responsible for. So, you know, that was another thing. And I think for Jimmy, kind of along the same lines with his son. So if you see that, just know it's not easy to explain to a client. I remember in Colorado, I had an agent who was writing her client's twin sons that were 21 years old, no credit, nothing at all. And the gal was like, why is my son being rated preferred, not preferred plus? And she was like all in a huff. And, you know, it's not easy to explain that those things that just the age and the fact that they're males put them in a higher risk. So we rarely give out preferred plus for that age range. We can. So the good thing about it is you can explain, hey, this doesn't lock him into this. Like we can every single year do a re-rate up to that point where he's kind of grown out of that, and we can re-rate that, and he'll, you know, if he's still healthy, he'll have a better chance of getting a preferred plus rate. So,
That would lower the
that's the way.
premium, right? For the annual
would lower the
payment?
premium.
Okay,
Yep. And on re-rates, if you guys don't know this, you can't have a worse re-rate, you can only get better. So even if during that they discover, oh my gosh, this person has diabetes, you know, we didn't know that, and neither did the client. Will never change it to a worse rating. They'll keep it the way it was, committed to the contract. But if they qualify for a better rate, they'll change the contract. So just know that goes with every life app that you have. No matter the age. All right. Thanks, Jimmy, for sharing that. Congratulations, you got your 2 life apps now, just getting them through the process,
Yes.
right? Of seeing it, pending review, approved, issued, and then paid. So those are the steps that you'll see as you go through, your life app going through the process. All right. So once we get that paid, and then you just got a few more PIF-IF and you're done. And Jeremy, you're done on the PIF-IF for Country Club. You just need the couple of life apps. So I'm glad that you are able to get those in. Check the box on that, get your money, get your qualification. So got a whole nother month. But we're good.
so I got a
All
question
right.
for you in regards to like my home's with Country and I just switched everything over. But I wanted, if I was to change some of the coverage, would the change of coverage won't happen until the next year. So it doesn't count as a PIF-BIF or any of that stuff.
No, coverage changes don't affect your policies in force or your BIFs, your vehicles then? An active policy, that's when you get counted for the BIFs. If you make any changes after that point, nothing, unless you remove a car, right? You remove a car, then it's negative. If you add a car, it's positive. That's the only thing that will affect those.
Okay.
All right, and for Jimmy and Jeremy, just as this comes up in my mind, just know it's a negative because you actually wrote the business yourself. All right, a signed book won't have a negative for the first 12 months, but written and then, you know, taken away or added, you know, all that will affect negative. See. Jeremy, share something positive.
Had a really big car for one of my farm clients who just kind of was like, same day was, hey, I just noticed this car was still on my policy. Can I come in? Like, I think almost $15,000 of property casualty premium. Like, it's like, I hadn't even really gone into depth on that part of my book yet, because I'll be honest, I've been a little hesitant to get in too deep into farm until I feel a little more confident, but sat there and went through it with him and like line by line on each thing, like here's the pivot, here's the pump house, how much it's valued at. So I'm going through, because that was on Friday, and working on the change forms and everything to try to get that. Also, I think it had to do with like the fade conversion, but he has like 7 or 8 policies in the new auto policy system, so I'm gonna work on consolidating that to try to save the liability
Oh,
premium. But
nice.
yeah, it was, they had, farm policies kind of scared me because I know they're a bit of their own beast, but actually sitting through there and then going through all of his coverages myself and then sitting there with him, it was kind of, that was a big confidence booster for me.
Good.
Going.
Good.
So, yeah.
Awesome. I love that. I love that you just took that on with the farm piece, because we haven't talked about that really.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that I don't know, Beth, what's her name? On the farm side. You guys remember getting emails from her? Oh gosh, I will get that to you, but I would reach out to her as a contact and just say, hey, or maybe you've gotten emails on getting farm certified because you have farms assigned to you. So that's gonna
I'll
be a
double check.
piece. Yeah,
Because
that'll be a piece.
my dad is, we were just gonna have like a little powwow session today anyway, so he's just gonna go
Good.
over all that with me because he's the self-proclaimed farm expert. So
Yeah.
I'm trusting him.
I think I would call him an expert for sure.
Mm.
I mean, yeah, he's He definitely has a lot of those policies.
It's the double whammy of creates a lot of farms and he grew up on one, so he
Yeah.
he knows the vibe.
Yes, yes. Very good. I think it's Beth Taylor is what I
Beth
want to
Taylor.
say. Beth Taylor, yep. So reach out to her and just say, hey, I've been assigned some farms and want to make sure, that I keep up with what I need in order to service and also maybe write some more. So. Very good. All right, Devin, let's share some positive, some wins from last week.
Well, I was out of commission like 3 days. I got a life app in. When it comes to brokerage, like if I submit a lie. And if I submit a referral to brokerage and they say that they don't have any, I don't know if this is a win. It's just something I'm checking on. If I submit a request to brokerage and they say, yeah, we don't have any companies that can service this type of risk, but if I call USLI directly and I break down the information for them and they're willing to quick quote it, am I bypassing anything that I should not be doing?
Yeah,
I am.
you are.
Oh,
Only because you have to run that through broker, you are licensed through Country's brokerage. And Country's brokerage is licensed with USLI, even though you have like a connection through Country's brokerage. But why would Country say no and USLI say yes?
I don't know. Like I just thought I was
Weird.
being
Well, you can just play the I didn't know card. I didn't know.
Perfect, yeah.
Yeah, just play the I didn't know on this
Oh,
one.
so there'd be no chance of it getting approved for that.
I don't know the answer to that.
Oh, okay.
I honestly don't.
Why don't you call them back, Devin?
Just what you described though. I'm like, all right, well, if brokerage said no,
Mm-hmm.
then
Yeah.
I just thought I got a friendly underwriter on the line, and I connected with a senior, reviewed the risk, and she's like, "Yeah, I'll go ahead and put this together, no problem." Put together the proposal for me, and so I just figured, I mean, if I'm going through, because to me it was just, hey, well, I want to hear you guys tell me no. I want to, just get a more in-depth explanation, maybe. That way, I'm just more fully informed, and then I also just kind of looked at it as a way of me being more proactive. I trust Country and I trust the brokerage system, but sometimes I like to get my answers direct, or
sure.
maybe what am I looking for? Maybe there's, because I mean I know the business more in depth. If I went down there and actually inspected it, looked at it, and I can answer more direct questions as opposed to, hey, here's a quick review. And then brokerage checks on it, and that just kind of gives me an answer. But I did get a life app through. I'm waiting for her to do the medical questionnaire, and then I don't know if it's wins, but like just being out there and handing out cards. There was a lady at Costco, wasn't sure how to pump her own gas, so I hopped out of my car, pumped her gas, and then I gave her a business card. And then there was
Funny.
two random conversations at Costco, and I don't know, just starting conversations, or like, me and this other dude were looking at cheese. And then you put them back, like, where are you putting those back? And then, 5 minutes goes by of a conversation, and then, just hand him a business card, see if he has anything else, or I don't know. So I don't know.
Right,
If it's a
no.
win.
Those are wins, Devin. Those are wins. I say success, those are things that you are building those processes into how you go out and get business. Like that's prospecting, I mean, fanatical prospecting, that's what it is. You always have I don't mean an angle like in a bad way, but an angle in, hey, you're creating conversations. This is what you do. You're growing your business, So I think that's great. That you've taken a page out of Jimmy's success at Costco kind of book,
Oh, yeah. Well, not,
Devin, you can work at the sample table. You can get a second job, have some samples and be like, so, your insurance with.
Hey, once you work a certain amount of hours, those raises are automatic.
There you have it, your side hustle. Doing what?
Actually,
Nancy and Jeremy, you like to take notes. We've had 2 agents that are having success at Costco. Like, that's awesome. I'm gonna head up there later today. I'm gonna see if it works.
yeah,
See if I can.
actually ran into
in the
one.
conversation.
I ran into a person walking my dog and we were talking and we went on the same walk and long story short, I did let him know I was doing country, but he was with Penco and he had just paid a claim. I was like, well, if you ever need a second opinion, here's my number. So which is really good because that's where I got from you. It's always good to have a second set of eyes. So it was and you
Here's some phrasing too is, hey, would you be opposed to a second opinion? No, would you be opposed? It's that same phrase that I coached to. It's, and I didn't make it up. Like this, I stole this from, and it's some of the collateral that I sent you guys, or when you were in Fast Start Coaching, some of that collateral with, I think it was the very first one, referrals. There's Brian Henry. So if you're not clicked on that link and watched like his video, like I remember him doing, I think it was a call with a producer call or something like that. And it was fantastic the way he positioned that. He was just like, I got to think of a phrase that people will not want to say no to. Like it makes it's confusing, right? But they just go with it. Would you be opposed? Well, no, I wouldn't be opposed. Okay, great. That means you said yes, you know? So it's and it's really worked well for him. So that's why I pass that on to you. But would you be opposed to second opinion? No, I wouldn't be opposed to that. Yes, I'm opposed to a second opinion. I mean, it's hard for people to say that. So, very good. All right, Nancy, you're up.
Well, I did have a home in Jacksonville that was one of my referrals from that farmer agent that they were paying like $11,500 a year on their home with farmers. It was getting non-renewed, and I was able to get it down to like $8,500, a little bit higher deductible, but it was up on a hill, trees everywhere. We got photos, beautiful house. He totally remodeled. He moved from like Laguna Beach, California. And Monday morning, I could see it from my cell phone. I couldn't see it on my computer, but it was a win because I was like, yes, now I just got to figure out how to issue the policy for the guy. I'm going to call him. Maybe I can buy myself a few days. And then he was like, yeah, let's do it. I don't want to wait till mid-August when it non-renews. Can you do it today? And I was like, absolutely. Sure. No problem. So. There's more to the story that's not positive, but it's okay. I know eventually I'll get credit for that policy, but yeah.
Why? Okay, you got to share now. Why wouldn't you get credit for it?
Well, so how the story went, because I did that on Friday prior to, I quoted him on Friday, but what I didn't do was I didn't quote the auto because I always see if I can get the home approved on ones that are in the 90s. I don't necessarily quote out everything right away. Sometimes that's a waste of time. So when I saw the approval, I had called underwriting and she suggested, because I had the auto discount on there with it, I needed to get the auto quoted, but really there's no way to do that. So she suggested I call Service Center. So when I spoke to the sales team at Service Center, she did mention that she would need to reassign that in order to have access to her in order to quote the auto. But that it did sound like if in fact we move forward, she'd be willing to like reassign the auto to me, just because I see it on the phone and we kind of did it together and she understood the issue that maybe they weren't on commission and that she would help me. So that was nice. But what happened from there went terribly wrong because apparently there was, and you know this, Christine, there was a error that when she tried to reassign it back, it said, I don't have an Oregon license.
Yes.
So we took, and I had already told the guy I would go, like, I didn't want to tell him that we were having problems. So I was like, oh yeah, we'll get you the app, we'll get it done. Well, long story short, it doesn't make so I had to have underwriting take the auto discount off, and all I wanted was just somebody to issue the home policy, which underwriting was willing to do for me since everything was in there, but it's under this sales center lady's
No,
name, and
we'll-
you know,
Nancy, we'll take care of that. Well, 100% take care of that, because I've witnessed to this whole thing of your computer and what happened.
Yeah. Well, if she
So-
didn't quote it, like, I can understand
No,
that, but like, I put it
absolutely
in
not.
last Friday. So anyways, they said they fixed it, we spent a whole bunch of time on IT. And then the saddest part of the story was that they said it was fixed on the back end, and then it wasn't. So it's under her name still. And
Well-
they can't seem to fix it because they emailed you and they don't know how why it's saying I don't have a license when I renewed it in May. So it's still not fixed.
So when
But-
it comes, Nancy, when it comes around to, like, we're gonna check your month to date, right? And we're gonna make sure once all that data comes out, like, let's give it some time to get in there and get issued and active. And then if it doesn't show on your month to date, but it shows as an active policy, then we're gonna submit an inquiry form directly over to agency compensation. All right, and we're gonna explain the whole situation. And, they might say, hey, we need to wait to see after August processes. So that we might not get that till September, but,
Yeah.
I will make sure that you get full commission and full credit for that policy. That it is not hers. You already had it completely done. And
Yeah.
she was trying to help you on the auto side. So, and your computer, I mean, all these things that, I mean, I will fall on the sword on this one. Like, that is
Thank
where,
you.
because I was witness to this whole thing happening. It was totally out of your control. So there's no way Direct Sales Center is getting credit for that. Absolutely not.
No, and I know that it'll eventually get fixed, but it happened again on Thursday, which is concerning that another one that they did, help me with, it's saying the same thing, like they can't re-assign it back to me, so something is definitely wrong, and it doesn't have to do with my computer. So that lady that you emailed who said, showed, I don't know, we may have to talk to licensing. some
Leona.
more, 'cause, yeah,
Well,
because.
she's showing you, there's something in the system that's not
Yeah.
connecting. From the Direct Sales Center, because both of these things happen when it's coming from Direct Sales Center over to you, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only time you ever see, like, if you're writing your own policies now, without them,
Yeah.
if it comes back that you're not licensed, okay, now there's an issue. But if it's from the Direct Sales Center, like, there's a misfiring,
Yeah,
there's something
there's some-
not,
Well,
something's not
I had to
connected.
check another agent just to do a little test run, because I thought maybe their deal was having IT issues, but we tried like putting under Terica's name and it worked fine. So it's just me, it's just a glitch somewhere along the line that I
Yeah.
think I'm not licensed to sell insurance in Oregon.
So let's make
So-
sure we keep track of the
Yeah.
month to date, once those August numbers start coming out. And if you don't see credit for that home, then let me know, and we'll
Okay.
send an inquiry form, just saying, hey, we gotta get this fixed, because Nancy needs full credit for this. It was her policy, it was not Direct Sales Center, they only helped her try and quote the auto because her computer had crashed, and then needed
Right.
the whole household, like, no, there's no way you're not getting credit for that $8,000
Yeah.
policy.
Yeah, so it's all good. Now I have the computer, so I'm just gonna work through all the little things one step, because you don't know what you don't have on it. That's kind of the other piece to getting a new computer is like suddenly you're like, oh, when I read an email, my signature, my picture and all my stuff's gone. Oh, everything's missing. So it's like a brand new computer, but like there's. none of
Isn't
my
that
old stuff.
interesting? Yes, mine was, when I was doing Microsoft 365, I still need to get that fixed. So, Kelly Marquez was like, hey, how come some of your signatures are from your Northern Colorado, signature, and some are from, and I was like, oh, those are the ones I sent through, the new Outlook, right?
Yeah.
That comes up. And I was like, why aren't they talking to each other? Like, I changed that, So anyway, I'm just not using the new Outlook anymore. Like,
Well,
forget
just
it,
so
it's too
the
hard.
rest of you guys know, Service Center can't do like, if it is a high wildfire score, I think
Yep.
he said anything over 60, in all of our areas, we're gonna have that. they aren't even allowed to do because they don't do what we do with the process of submitting photos, uploading
Yeah.
photos of all that. So they couldn't help me with that one. That was in the 90s, another one.
Okay.
So good to know, 'cause I didn't know that. I was just gonna give it away at that point. I was so desperate to just help people like, here, anyone take it. I was gonna give one to Tara, like, just you do it because I couldn't operate efficiently. So I was like, here, help me. So,
Oh, Nancy, we're
fine.
we're on the other side of it. So
Yeah.
glad.
for sure.
Ugh. I hate the interruptions, right, for you guys. Sure. All right, well, I'm waiting to hear back from our speaker because she's not on. Let's see. Oh. And now she is at an appointment with her son, had to take him to the dentist. Okay, well, we will just improvise today. So what I did want her to share was, I wanted her to share about just her success in her first year. You know, first, she's really about, almost 2 years in, kind of along the same lines, Devin and Nancy. I think she started right before you guys. And just what in a hard market, right? In Colorado, like how has she powered through? How has she really made the best of being in that hard market? And when I say hard market, you guys have no idea. Like Colorado is a totally different beast. And it's, you know, when you first start out, that she was previously my AOA. And I saw what I saw in her and how she helped me my first, you know, year or so, 18 months as a leader there. I was like, you do not belong in this role, girl. Like, you have got way too much talent. Like, you need to be an agent. And of course I hated to lose her, but she's fantastic. We're at great connections, marketed well. She handled all of my marketing events, which I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna so miss her in that space. But I didn't want to hold her back. So there was I don't know if any of you know Katie Lorsbach. So she used to be my agent, and she manages product support people. So back at the home office. So she transitioned back to home office, and she left her book of business. And so I reassigned it to Heather. And you know, first full year as an agent, All-American. And she listened to everything I told her, everything. And I'm not saying that after I say she was an All-American, like, yeah, I get credit for that, but it was, she did what I told her to do. And she did it with 100% effort, and it paid off. So anyway, so we won't get to hear from her today, so I will get that rescheduled with her, and I will take full responsibility for that, because as you guys were talking, I was looking at the invite and I go, oh, because I didn't send her the invite. So my bad, sorry. Anyway, so let's kind of pivot from that. What shall I pivot to? What do you guys need help with? Let's just throw it out there. Any obstacles in front of y'all this week, or anything you're facing or trying to work through, besides Nancy? Nancy, we know what yours are.
One you did help me with last week was regarding the life policy, like when it's an employee. Yes, that's great. It's covered. It's fantastic that they're covered. However,
So
what happens?
Talk about that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think it was on Friday, Jimmy was meeting with a client and had a phone conversation with this client, and went into the life insurance piece. You know, he's helping her talk about, I think it was her home, right?
Her
Jimmy?
auto.
Her auto.
Yeah, just doing a car that wasn't
Yeah.
that.
It's the life, and then I'll piggyback on that.
So basically, after I built up a report, all of the car appointments that we were doing that you guys taught us, or that you taught us, and then basically I said, hey, by the way, one of the things that I do with all my clients is I offer life insurance. I don't know if you have it or if you don't have it, but I would like to touch bases with you. And she thought, oh no, I have it at work. And I was like, and then I was like, I was stumped on that. And then after I hung up, I was like, Christine, where are you when I needed you? No. But it was something that was on there because I've never asked that before, especially from a person that I've never done that. So I was like, okay, well, here I am putting myself out there and I'm going to learn and grow and get better from it. So afterwards, but I kept on adding, that's great, but, and I don't know why I kept on saying, it was over and over, but having that little role play that we did in here and just being able to rehearse it in my mind and play it back is night and day difference. And it was,
So there was a, fanatical prospecting, the book, if you were at our meeting, our in-person meeting, there were books on the tables. One of them was Fanatical Prospecting, and it's by Jeb Blunt. And so you guys have heard me talk about him before, but I listened to a podcast over a year ago, and it was a podcast of, how he would walk around his office, or one of his consultants would walk around, and they have an office full of sales consultants, right? So these are like, if all of you were in the office here, I would walk around and I'd pop, and what he did was would pop into someone's office and he'd say, let's role play. I have life insurance at work. There's off the cuff, right? And so, I mean, a couple of times I walked over to Jimmy's office. I go, okay, let's role play this. Okay, I have life insurance at work. How would you walk me through that as a client? So we were going back and forth and what Jimmy's talking about. And I kept, just what he said. He kept saying, well, that's great, but, and I'm like, no, don't say but, because that negates everything that you just said, that it was great. That means you really don't feel that way, because now you have another piece of advice. You have a better way for them to approach this, because you just said, but. And so we kept role playing through, all right, that's how I would say it. And then I would say, all right, I have life insurance at work, Jimmy. How are you going to walk me through that? And so we would just go back and forth on it. It was really good. It was really good, on my part on the coaching, like just kind of kept picking up the pieces that, nope, don't say that. All right, what else can you say with that? And just repetitive over and over. And so I'd love to throw that out to you guys. Like, if you have, what is your response to, I have life insurance at work?
no, I'm kidding. Just kidding.
Play through that. Let's role play just for the benefit of the whole team. So, I'm going to be the client, right? And you're the agent, and you just asked me about my life insurance. Well, hey, you know what, Jeremy? I'm told.
Well, that's great to hear, Christine. I'm glad that you're already thinking about life insurance, getting it through work. It's like one of the best perks you can get through work, along with health insurance. The thing I always like to ask my clients, though, is when was the last time you reviewed the amount of coverage you have through work with your life insurance?
Oh, I know it's like 1 times my income. I know it's pretty standard. I think we can, like, if we pay a little bit more, we can purchase more. And I'm not sure if that's like something that I did or not. I can't remember. We only do benefits once a year in November, and that was 10 months ago. So it's probably coming up. I'll look when it comes up.
Well, and one times your income, that means 1 year's worth of income. But I know you mentioned you have the 2 preteen kids. If something were to happen to you, would you want your spouse to be able to take them through high school, or just have 1 year to try to find a way to replace your income?
Well, that's a good point.
Because
Yeah, maybe.
what I'd like to review with you is kind of going over all of your assets and liabilities, as far as I know you have that house that you've got the mortgage on. I'm not sure how much you have left on that mortgage, but we probably want to sit down at some point. We can do that right now if you'd like, but go over what your debts are, how much you still owe for things like the mortgage, if you want to take care of your kids past high school, or if you want them to try to figure out college on their own. But these are all of the sort of things that a income replacement plan, which is what I like to refer to this life insurance as, because that's really what it is. It replaces your income if something happens to you for the rest of your family. Go through the details of what that would look like. So is that something where we can sit down and kind of review those numbers and see if there's maybe some
Yeah.
chinks in the armor that we need to repair?
Jeremy, you convinced me. Good job. Way to go. I like that you called it an income replacement plan, right? Because that's exactly what you're doing. You defined it that way. What are some good stuff that Jeremy pointed out that you guys picked up on?
Sitting down and reviewing it, reviewing their policy that way, as opposed to just you shooting a number without knowing any real data about the person.
Yeah, pushing you to bring it in to review it instead of just assuming what you have. Most people don't remember what they signed up for. Do you guys usually bring up what it happens if you were to move to a different company or get fired? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
If they fired you, what happens to that life insurance? Do you ever bring that up in the conversation?
Jimmy, how did we do that in the role play?
You said, oh, that's great. Well, what if the company bellies up, goes out of business, or worst case scenario, you end up quitting or they fire you? And do you take that life insurance with you? No, the company has a policy, it stays with the company. So that's a great icing on the cake, but we want to make sure you're covered all the way through. And here's having your own policy where it goes with you for the rest of your life.
So anytime, this was in a nutshell, like my effort with life insurance at work, that I was coaching with Jimmy on Friday was, hey, that is fantastic. I love that you work for a company, and Jeremy, you did this. I love that you work for a company that offers that as a benefit. Not all people work for companies that offer that, and it is super cheap. It's group life, but you're limited with how much you can actually get from that policy. And then that's when I pivoted to, another piece of having life insurance at work is that you have zero control over it. Like you have no control. They could decrease the amount when you do your benefit renewal, they could change any aspect of it, of what they offer. And if they go out of business, they go belly up, you leave, they disconnect from you. You're now back at zero life insurance. So we like to have people that they own their own policy. Like this one, the one at work is a supplement. It's a complement to what you also own yourself. It's icing on the cake. We can take the amount of it and implement that into our calculation of what you would need. But we really look at that as a supplement to what you would own yourself. Something like that. But I always, and this is what I told Jimmy, I always compliment people that say they have it at work. I never ever look at it as a bad thing. Now I know that, I don't know, in other life insurance coaching you've had, it's always looked at, and I would never want to put the client in a position of feeling like they've done something wrong or they've done something bad. They're not as smart as you are because, oh my gosh, you just have it at work. That's how some people can feel and be made to feel when you say, oh, you have it at work, that's great. But when you say but, it puts people in a position of they're doing something wrong. You guys agree with that?
Yeah, I agree. Because then they're defensive. If you're like, that is great. That's such a great benefit. I love when big companies offer that as part of their group benefits. That's something that's so valuable. You're lucky that you have that. Like, we're independent. We don't have that, Most of us we're agents, we're self-employed. So I had to give mine up when I left for Bell.
Yeah.
My 401k, my mat, all of it. Like, it was different, but.
And that's where you pivot. No, that's where you pivot from. That's fantastic. I love that you have that. How we view that is, or how I view that as a supplement to what I want to help my clients own on their own, because that gives them more control. You have a piece that you don't have control of, but lucky you have it, right? Let's take full advantage of it. But then let's look at some planning that would give you full control that should have something happen. like the company goes out of business, they decide not to offer that benefit anymore, and all of a sudden you don't have it. So if we look at that as a supplement or a complement to what you own yourself.
Yeah, I like the word own, like, I think that's valuable to say. I would love to, get you approved to own a policy that's yours, that you can keep regardless of where you work.
Yes.
And that was just an added bonus or icing on the cake or
Yes.
just supplement. Those are all great, I guess,
Yes.
ways to explain, so you're complimenting them, but you're like, but I'd also love to have you
Yeah.
own this policy that's fully underwritten, that you qualify for. And they're
And
like,
that you have control over the type that it is, you have control over the amount of death benefit that is offered, you have control over, a lot more pieces. And that's why we look at the life insurance at work as a supplement or a complement to what we help you create on the ownership side. Yeah. It was good. Good I love doing it. I kept popping in to Jimmy's office. All right, let's do this again.
It is really good because that's where it's on the fly, just testing how I'm gonna get in there and how I can actually get better by being, and I'd much rather be uncomfortable here with you than with the person,
Yeah.
just by not knowing, but
And the more you do it, like the more you repeat it and you act like, okay, I'm talking to a client about this, and you do it over and over, the more smooth you get, the more confident you get. And it really starts, it goes from what you know in your head, like what you want to say, to your heart. Like Nancy, you just brought up a great point. Look, this happened to me when I disconnected from Propel. Like, I don't have any group benefit anymore. And when you explain that, hey, when I came over to country, I'm now an independent business owner. I don't have, I had to give up what I had, and now I own my own life insurance, and or maybe you had before, but you can.
now I'm
You can-
old and it's
Yeah.
expensive.
Right, I mean, you can say all of that, say,
Way
hey,
less
look,
expensive.
I'll share
Like-
my own personal story with you,
Right.
here's what I wish I would have done. Whether that's true or not, you can just use as an example of, here's what I wish I would have done, or somebody would have, guided me through this. I didn't know. And say to all of your clients, hey, here's why I say this, is because I lived this, and I wish somebody would have guided me through this. And so I'm doing that. I'm not going to leave it to chance. I'm going to do this for all my clients.
Yeah. I like
So
it.
I get at that conversation. All right, anything else you guys hung up on, trying to get through?
I have one thing. Oh, go ahead, Jerry.
But no, you go ahead.
Well, we can do this offline if this wouldn't be valuable to anybody else. I would love for Christine to show me again in Passport how to pull up that conversion list, because I had mine saved on my desktop, so I lost a lot of access to things. So I'd love to just see my list again of auto policies that are going to convert, if you have a minute, or if anyone else would like that also, to pull your list of ones we need to work on.
All right. I'm going to go in two different ways, right, that you can pull your term conversion list. One of those is straight up through Navigator. And this is where it tells you like all of here's the credits, here's all of that. It's more, actually I need to go Passport. It's more on it's old school, right? You don't have you can't download it to Excel. You can't do any of that and sort it or anything like that. But, I will show you here where you can get that old school. So it's just under client folder, or actually over here in production, sorry.
Cause I had it
Life.
saved so I could
Yeah,
kind of go when I have some downtime, like I always just poke on it, see where I left off.
so production, life term conversion, and then the credit listing. And what that should, nothing, like if I do it, it's not gonna show anything, right? But if you guys do it, I don't know what it's gonna show. Hopefully I don't have any assigned. So it's gonna do this, right? Your agent number, if you want the report date, you click search and it'll come up. Okay,
Would you be able to just copy paste that URL into the chat for the meeting? Cause then we should be able to just bookmark this look
Oh,
up.
yeah, I'll go back.
Cause then it
I mean,
tells
you
you
can-
guys the
I was
credit.
like, you should be able to do it from right here. Yeah,
Right there?
yeah, that should be able to pull it up for us.
Let's get into the chat. Let's see, you guys tell me if that takes you where you need to go. All right,
Thank you.
yes, the other way, just so you know, if you want one that's more downloadable into like an Excel and you want to sort it and stuff like that. So you would go over here under Enterprise Reporting Hub and you would go under Life and Health.
It worked.
Did it work?
Oh, yeah, this is the other way. I always forget this way.
Yeah. So under Life and Health, Life Health Book of Business. All right, so we're gonna click here to see the report. And right here, so if I went under, let's just do you, Nancy.
Cause this one you can filter, right, by age
Yes,
or what.
you could do
yours.
all sorts of different ones. And so I'm looking for all policies. And I'm doing term life, right? Because if you're doing a term conversion, you want to know what are all your term policies. So right now, Nancy, you have 105, right? So then you would come up here, you would do cross tab download, want the product details. Let's download this. You just open this to see what it looks like.
Is this the newer way to go this
Yes.
route? Okay, where it makes it into an Excel spreadsheet?
Yeah, so then you can kind of, you can get rid of some columns you don't want, you can, whatever, or however you wanted to sort it, maybe you wanted to sort it based on age, maybe, all of those, whereas the other ones you'd have to go through one by one to look at. Maybe you wanted to sort it by effective date. The only thing that other list gives you, which I don't see it here, is date of birth. It gives you age, but the other one gives you date of birth. So,
But if it takes you right to them in Navigator, then you could just see it in their folder, right? And
Yeah.
I think one of them's clickable where you can that's what Mandy was telling me when she was making calls.
are-
The no life list
Yes.
for her.
yeah.
No
Um,
life, certain age group.
So that one, let's dissect that, all right? So if you're talking about the one that is, the one that that you filter through, no life, you have property casualty, no life. Specifically.
Yeah, that's what I had a very valuable list on my desktop that I saved. That she had been working with me just those couple days and I wanted to continue where she left off and I was like, oh, I lost my list. I'll
Okay.
look at-
So we're gonna go into leads and activities under outreach activities.
Okay,
Bring up you.
it's hard to remember these when you don't go in that often.
Oh, I
At least for
know.
me, I'm like, oh gosh, I was clicked
So
wrong.
outreach activities, under you, I'm gonna add an email activity. That's because I want to generate a list of everyone that has emails, right? So if we went, let's do life cross sell, that means this is going to bring up any household that does not have life insurance. Okay. Who do what age? Let's start at 0 and let's end at 70. Let's generate the list. And I believe if we download this one has a link to, and I'll show you guys what that looks like. So this will have a link to their household, just what you were talking about, whereas the other Excel, right, this doesn't have a link. Like it's not underlined, it won't go to Navigator. But once this one comes up, I'll show you guys what that looks like. Then we're already at 10 o'clock, we filled it in. All right, so this is where it says 214 contacts. You have 214 households with no life insurance. So let's review the list. And here they all are. All right, so they're all automatically marked, so I'm gonna confirm the selection. This, there we go, 214. I selected them all, and then I'm gonna export them to Excel.
So that does have their age on the side there in that column. It's a,
Yes, it does show age. Let's see what it looks like on the Excel. Again, this is a different list. This is just all households with no life. Whereas the other one specifically pulled in your life book of business, all your term policies. And then you also had the client listing, which was a formal term conversion listing. So let's see what this looks like.
like you guys could do this for cross-selling, Jimmy. You could do like, I wanna see all my households that have home with no auto. And then figure out first what the discount is on the home and make a call about you're missing out on this great discount. I'd love to talk to you. It's a great way to add.
Yes. I'm trying to
So
remember
this is
all
what-
those steps.
Yeah, this is what this looks like. So you actually do have this open folder link right here. So if you do through leads and activities, it actually connects it to the household folder. And it goes out to age. This is if you have any more new activity that is scheduled, 2020. I'm like, okay, why is that on there? So some of these columns you can get rid of that you don't need and kind of, filter it down to the information that you would need. And then you could go, if I click on this, it's gonna go to Ignacio Jimenez, the household. If you wanted to go in and look and see like what other products he had or whatever that looks like. No,
And this is like, if you have someone working for you that could just work your list, it's
Yeah.
pretty cool. Or,
and note, yeah, and note in contact history and all of that. So,
it's hard to have time to do this. You're new and when you're busy, it's hard to do that, work that as often as you should, because it's tough fitting it in with service work, but pretty cool tool, I would say. Have any
Right, so-
downtime, try to pull the list and have it available for you to do.
oh, wait, here's what I've been telling agents, and I've gotten some good feedback. Not that you guys have not heard this before, maybe you haven't, but last week I got some good feedback from 2 agents that I told previous coaching session. I want you to work on life insurance for 1 hour a day, just 1 hour a day. And when I connected back with them last week, one of them was like, oh my gosh, that was golden. And he has submitted 4 life apps in the last month. Because he committed to not picking up the stuff that was not his wheelhouse. He delegated, he has 2 assistants, so he delegated, but he was able to write 4 life apps and actually put into play. He's involved in the Barry Rutten program. And I'm like, okay, you're paying money every single month to put his coaching, his nuances, how he says things, repetitively over his system. Let's put that into play. I don't see any life apps yet. And so I said, I want you to work on it 1 hour a day. And he actually did that, and he's had great success. And another agent said the same thing. Oh my gosh, I just committed to it. I looked at my life insurance appointment and I said, it's an appointment. It's a client's coming in. Like, I don't have any other option. I can't just overlook this because it's not bringing my business forward to where I need it to be. So the commitment of just 1 hour a day of life insurance was paying off for them. So when Nancy talks about the lists and all of those things, that's where you should be working on that, at least to get you started, in that 1 hour a day of, hopefully it's so chock full of, oh my gosh, I've got to meet, like, I have so many impending, I gotta, where are we at with these? Am I holding the potato? I want hot potato. I don't want it to be on me. So, I'm gonna be able to make sure these policies are moving forward through the system. But I hope you get to that point. If any of you need help with lists, please do not hesitate. I do not want any progress in your agency to be stopped because you don't have a list, right? Because like I just showed you, we can create those really easily. and I don't blame anybody for not remembering. Like, unless you're in there all the time doing it. Even I am like, okay, no, that's the one through enterprise reporting of, like, I have to like think about it too. So,
Yeah, but it takes seriously, like, once someone pulls it for you, or Christine Hell, it's like 2 minutes, seriously, it's so quick, and just sends it to you. Even if you have to do that in the beginning, like, it's so valuable, those lists are pretty cool. Helps you.
great. I'm gonna let you guys go. Have a
Thank
great
you.
Monday. We are not on the docket for next Monday, right? Or is that?
Yep.
So on the calendar, did I already?
I think you said
delete it?
that.
Okay, because I'm gonna be out. No, it's Monday, and I actually will be in the office, but be cleaning out the Bend office on my day of PTO, because that's the only day we can do it, so, you know,
Man,
don't feel too sorry for me. I mean,
well, I'm not gonna call you, there's no
Yeah.
emergency big enough, none of us can call you, that's.
unless your computer crashes and
No,
you need
not-
help.
No, I wouldn't even tell you if it happened again, I'd call Jeremy. Jeremy's IT guy can help me.
I'm glad to help.
You guys, I hope you have a great rest of your week, and, we'll touch bases when I get back.
Okay,
All right,
have a good
take care.
time. Bye.
All right, bye.